All right, yo, Raw Deal Podcast. This is July 10th edition. We had Raw tonight. First, overall thoughts. Garrett, what'd you think of Raw tonight?
I thought that Raw was pretty decent tonight. I mean, there was a couple of skippable moments. I only skipped one thing. It was the Cruiserweight match. So that's just because I was trying to catch up because I didn't start live. But I thought it was, it's not one of the better Raws, but it certainly wasn't a terrible Raw.
Okay. Yeah, I liked most of it. I thought Raw was a little slow, to be honest. We hit the standard Raw patch of there was cumulative probably 2 hours of nothing and an hour of something. And then there was an hour straight of just I wasn't too into it kind of deal. Charlie, how's your mic?
I whenever it gets unplugged and we're in the pre-cast, I have to leave the call for it to work. It's the stupidest thing.
That's so weird. But
yeah, I think it's do you have a mic connected at all, or is it just your
I don't want to touch it, but yeah, I got a blue snowball from Brady.
Yeah, it's probably so. What you need to do is just have that thing connected when you before you start the call, probably, because it'll something else usually steals it away.
Well, also I was gonna we'll talk about it after, but there's a thing in the settings that sometimes it resets for me. But Charlie, what'd you think of Raw overall?
It had some bad stuff, but also stuff I really liked. So,
yeah, I was telling Garrett I thought it went a little slow. It was one of those ones where I looked down, I was like, "What time is it?" And it was only 9:20, and I was like, "Oh,
dude, I swear to God, 9:28." I saw the clock. I was like, "Holy shit, it's taking a minute."
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So we started off Raw. Big Cass came out to his entrance that still isn't any better than it was last night.
Honest rating of that entrance music, I give it a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's just not good, and it doesn't fit Big Cass. Something else I noticed is that Cass, when he was cutting the promo on Enzo, he was doing a good job of being the angry, just badass. But when he was cutting this promo, he still, for lack of a better term, has a baby face. He has that type of face where, I don't know, I just think he would be a face. Do you agree, Garrett?
Yeah, maybe. I assume he's not writing his own promos, because I would think between the two of them, Enzo was probably the creative guy. But I don't know, because I feel like most of the time when we talk about promos on here, there's 3 things that I think, and I don't know if you guys necessarily go off these same standards, but for me, for a promo to be good, it has to have 3 things. They have to have an actual point to them. They have to have a legit thing, because this is a problem I always run into Bray Wyatt promos. Sometimes his promos are just kind of pointless. They don't have a goal in mind. They're just sort of, there.
Yeah.
And they're nice and they're great, but it's not quite everything. So by judging this off that, I don't really feel like I had a purpose. The second thing that I look for, do they believe what they're saying? Again, I don't think he really hit here either. This promo, it didn't feel like Big Cass was being Big Cass. It felt like Big Cass was being whoever it is backstage thinks Big Cass is. And the third thing that I always look for in a promo is, is it boring at any point? Do I ever just end it already, just be done, have a match or something,
That one Tommaso Ciampa promo, Brady knows which one I'm talking about.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about too. But yeah, especially when and this is not just a problem exclusively to bad promos. The good promos have it too sometimes. Sometimes I want Bray Wyatt to stop talking because he said enough. Sometimes I want Seth Rollins to stop just cutting the same promo every week, so for this fails on all 3 parts for me. So this is not a good promo. Big Cass is better than this. He's proven it already. Give him a storyline. Obviously, they kind of did. Maybe it'll get better now, but we just don't know.
Charlie, you thought that it was going to go into Big Cass and Big Show Battle of the Bigs for SummerSlam. Looks like that's what we're getting. Are you down?
I'm down. I think my biggest point from this would be the heat he had. I hope it lasts, because I hate him out there. So,
which let's hope that it's genuine heat and it doesn't turn into the Eva Marie type heat.
Yeah.
So, but someone that also has a pretty great amount of heat is Elias Samson. The dude. Okay, Charlie, I gotta ask, do you think that, okay, if you had to guess, do you think either Elias Samson has been playing guitar his whole life and he's just been progressively showing more and more of it every week? Or do you think this dude has invested in lessons?
Damn. I feel like it's something that he probably played when he was younger or something, or he does it on his side time, and he was like, well, let me incorporate this into my character.
Yeah, he might have just been a struggling musician that was like, I'm also into wrestling. I kind of know how to do some of this stuff. I learned it, watching it. A lot of people, that's something that we don't see anymore, ever. It's people, self-taught wrestlers. It just doesn't happen anymore. It's all, everyone goes to a camp, a school, or something like that. He could have just been sitting there one day and he's like, you know what? I could be a wrestler and I can use this skill. It'll help. Not enough people have unique characters, so I'll do that. It's really weird because you never know these days. He could have just been on the street and WWE was like, hey, you want a job?
Dude playing guitar.
Yep. And they were like, you want a job? They're like, all right.
Yeah. So Elias Samson's out there. He has a song for Finn Balor. Like I said, he has intense heat, so Samson pulls the "Who wants to walk with Elias?" Boo! Just
I like that. And every time he's also like, "My name is Elias Samson," and if he doesn't get enough heat, he's like, "I said my name is Elias Samson," and everyone's immediately on board.
And he pulls the "Everyone, please hold your applause till the end," and everyone starts cheering. It was great. So it's good. He's got the crowd where he wants him. So Finn Balor comes out, interrupts him. We're definitely going towards a match between these two, which Finn Balor will obviously win, but I don't think losing will hurt Samson at all. So
no.
Charlie, what'd you think of this this little segment between the two?
I thought it was it's kind of a different with it. Nothing I really took too much away from it, but Balor winning over him is kind of the expected, I think. Right?
Yeah, I agree. Something I didn't expect. The Hardy Boys came out and dropped a lot of broken Hardys.
Dude, they literally said the thing that started it all. I'll fade away and catch my. What was it?
You people seem to think that we might fade away and classify ourselves as obsolete.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd starts delete. And then Matt Hardy comes out and starts the and starts saying that, last night, I gotta admit, tonight we're bruised, battered, some could say broken. Ah!
Oh yeah.
The crowd was so, I don't know. For me, I think that it's less likely the more they drop the hints of the broken Matt Hardy character. I feel like it wouldn't be a progressive thing. I feel like it should just happen. So I feel like them dropping all these things to try to get pops out of the crowd might be a bad thing for people that want to see the broken Hardys gimmick. But there are a lot of different ways they could go with it. We'll see what happens with them. At least it wasn't as bad as last night's promo. And that leads to Gallows and Anderson coming out, challenging the Hardy Boys to a match. And Gallows and Anderson, they win clean. Not really any shenanigans, to my knowledge. They just
I don't think there was many shenanigans, if any.
Yeah, they just straight came out and beat them. Is this a program that you're interested in, Garrett?
So long as it comes out like with Gallows and Anderson being back in possibly the future title scene. There's another thing that came out of this segment that I'm actually a little more interested in personally. So, the Revival.
Go into it.
So the Revival come out after the Hardys have been, beaten down and then beaten down again after the match was over. And then Gallows and Anderson, or was it even? No, he didn't even beat them up afterward. The Hardys were just laying in the ring, and Gallows and Anderson were like, we're going to leave. We don't need to be heels today. And then I was like, usually they attack people after matches, especially if they're going into a program. But then the Revival come out, and they beat up the Hardys. And I think that's the way they're going instead. Maybe they'll do some weird triple threat where Gallows and Anderson are like, well, wait, we attacked them first or something. But I think that's more they're going to launching Gallows and Anderson back toward the titles maybe. And then, although that'd be kind of weird playing them sort of as the face. But, yeah, then the Revival coming in. And Revival versus Hardys I think will be good, especially since Revival actually haven't had a feud yet. So, except, I guess, with the New Day before they left. But,
I'm pretty sure there's only 4 tag teams on Raw.
Yeah, they got raided in the Superstar Shakeup.
I mean, I'm hoping
later in round 5.
I'm hoping that the Hardy Boys teaming up with Finn Balor and them showing this friendship week in and week out ends up, because if the Hardy Boys have tension with Gallows and Anderson and they're also with Finn Balor, that will hopefully lead to either Balor turning on Hardys or Hardys turning on Balor, which would align Balor up with Gallows and Anderson. But that's down the road a ways. So we might see Hardys in Revival. We might see maybe a triple threat tag team match for a number one contender spot for SummerSlam, something along those lines. We had an award show by The Miz at the start of the second hour called the Mizzies.
Yes.
This was fantastic, and The Miz might be the biggest face on Raw.
Dude,
Might be also simultaneously the biggest heel.
Oh, agree. I mean, so he came out and he dropped the line. He was like, he first announced best supporting role. It's a tie, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, and Bo's sitting there like,
the "you deserve it" chance.
Deserve it for them. And then the Miz he's talking about how grateful he is, and he's like, but anyway, I need to get on. Who wants to see the rest of the Mizzies? Yeah, dude, the crowd went nuts. He's the biggest face on Raw, isn't he, Charlie?
I mean, you'd think so. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. Miz is good. And then
who gets bigger pops than the Miz? Like who? Name somebody. Braun Strowman?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, Brock, Roman.
Yeah, Brock probably gets the biggest pops.
All those guys in the main event scene, they get big pops right now.
Yeah, exactly. So then Maurice gets award for being gorgeous, sexy, something.
I mean, he said that like 5 times.
Yeah, it was weird.
Stunning. I was like, what the hell?
Stunning, gorgeous, sexy woman on the roster or something. I was like, all right, it's a long title. But then the Miz ends up winning Best Man, So it was good, man. I don't know who voted for it, but they did a good job. And I
think I know who voted for it.
And then that's interrupted by Dean Ambrose, in which the Miz and the Mizzies, they should just call themselves the Mizzies at this point, the Miztourage. And so Miz and the Miztourage end up beating up Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins comes in for the save. Are we seeing a Seth Rollins going for the IC title? Because I'm down with that, Garrett.
That would be kind of cool. Especially if he has like Dean Ambrose backing him up or something to deal with the Miztourage.
I thought what was weird, though, is that it seems that we're going towards Lesnar against Reigns, who lost, and at the pay-per-view, and Miz against Seth Rollins, who lost at the pay-per-view.
Raw has a desperate need for faces.
Yeah.
But I'm getting out of that.
It's interesting. But this also led to a backstage segment, and I want to pick your brain on this, Charlie. What do you think about Dean Ambrose getting a little heelish and telling Rollins he doesn't need his help to stay out of his business, and there's not going to be a Shield reunion?
At the time, I thought it was cool. I was like, oh shit, all right, we're not going to see them together. But that changed later on in the night. But at the time, I was like, yeah, I like this side of Ambrose.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, well, his promos as a tweener were the best promos he had because they were so on the edge of being a real baby face. So, but now that he's like, they shifted him into a full face role, we really don't get to see it that much. So, like wacky Dean Ambrose, we'll have that next week. But for the night, it was
wacky
nice.
Dean Ambrose.
Look at him, Maggle.
Look at him go, Maggle.
I'm just glad we never saw JBL calling the cruiserweights. Just saying.
Oh.
Look at those little guys go.
Look at him fly, Maggle.
So, Garrett labeled it more shattered truth stuff. Yep, pretty much.
I'll be honest here, man. That I was a couple minutes behind. Skipped through it all.
Yeah. And then we had our truth versus Goldust. I think Goldust won. Did he, Garrett? I can't even remember.
Yep. He won.
No, R-Truth won.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know.
That's why I was surprised at the result. I thought it was for sure Goldust winning. Nope, it was R-Truth.
Hey, whatever. Might as well push this rivalry all the way to, I don't know, Mania.
Are we sure that R-Truth won?
I'm positive because that's I was so surprised with it. I thought it was for sure Goldust was winning.
I don't not trust your memory. My memory's so bad. I just don't know.
Yeah. So R-Truth gets to win. That's yeah. This was at the point where as soon as the Shattered Truth thing came on, I totally checked out of Raw. Well, actually, before that, we had a Divas Tag Match, Sasha and Bayley versus Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, which we've seen probably 7 million times at this point. And
many times, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you always say, Charlie, they're taking the 4 women, just cycling them, except they're not even cycling them at this point. They're doing the same match over and over. And
I had Bayley win it.
And then Bayley ends up pinning Alexa Bliss. So pretty much Nia, Nia deserves a shot at the title because
it's Goldust.
She beat Bayley, but Sasha beat Nia, but Bayley pinned Bliss, and it's just a cluster. So
It says it there, Goldust.
Yeah.
Cluster F.
Yeah. So then we had Kurt Angle giving an update on Braun Strowman. I actually missed the update. What was the announcement?
That he has no idea when he'll be back, if he'll be back.
How is that an update? It's just
That's what they said throughout the whole show.
This is just what he said before when he's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of who attacked Big Cass. He had 3 hours to do it and then showed up and he's like, I have no idea.
Yeah, it seemed more like a lead way to get to Brock and what's their faces out.
Kurt Angle would have been fired months ago had he had this been real life. He's a shitty GM. He doesn't know what's going on.
Would have been fired, especially after the Cass stuff. I mean, geez.
Yeah, I know. So Brock Lesnar comes out, and with Paul Heyman, basically Kurt Angle said, Brock Lesnar, we're looking for an opponent for him, blah, blah, blah. Lesnar comes out. They basically, suck each other off a little bit, saying how great the other person is. That's Brock and Angle. And then Roman comes out and is like, I told you, I'm the #1 contender. Blah, 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 blah. And then Joe comes out and he's like, dude, you didn't even win your match last night. And he's like, well, neither did you. Once again, a guy that lost his match last night doesn't even get in the thing. But they can kind of justify Roman because he was in the second biggest match of the night, and Strowman's dead, pretty much.
Murder.
Yeah, he attempted murder on his record,
Right. So, hey, remember, kids, if you attempt murder, as long as you don't get away with it, you'll probably get better opportunities in life because of it.
Yeah, maybe a title shot.
They were throwing some good jabs, man. That's what I took away from it.
Oh, yeah. It was really good, and Brock is so good in this promo because Lesnar said shit, which is funny because there's a reason they have Heyman on the mic because they're afraid to put Lesnar on a live mic. Something tells me they increased the TV delay a little bit.
So that he can get away with it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they definitely, at least 15 more seconds.
I feel like it's usually like a 5-second delay, and they bump it to 10.
Maybe even to 15 because you never know with Lesnar. He might just pull some extra stuff because they probably planned out him dropping the S-bomb, but, everything else. It was just, yeah. I loved it. I don't know about you, Brady. I love any time we can get Brock Lesnar on TV, but I love even more every time we don't because then we get Paul Heyman. Because in this promo, even Heyman barely said anything in this whole deal. I mean, he spoke for a minute, and then as soon as the challengers came out, it was pretty much all Brock. And I was impressed with him because Brock's infamous for not really being that great on the mic. He's not. It might be like I don't know if it is. Maybe it's just like because we would have had to have done UFC interviews right after fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't like it if he doesn't have to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. If he doesn't have to, why bother? Heyman's one of the best managers ever. So something I kind of like is how Roman, Lesnar and Joe are so intense in this. Mm-hmm. But Roman's playing the cocky, dude, I got this company wrapped around my finger. I kind of like that, don't you, Charlie?
I do. I went and looked at. He said, "You don't deserve shit." That's what it was. But
right.
Yeah, I think we're playing some good roles with Roman and Joe and honestly all of them.
I mean, that's the ultimate heel thing that Roman's doing is just, I'm the company's guy. I know I'm the company's guy, and because I'm the company's guy, I get handed #1 contender matches, even though I didn't even win my match the night before.
And I tried to murder a guy.
Exactly. I can try to murder a guy and get a championship match for it. So next week we're gonna have Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe to see who becomes the #1 contender. This would have been cool if we hadn't seen it twice already, but
yeah. Well, it's something we like to talk about with having Matt
meaning
putting stuff forward to the next week. You know, giving you something to watch for.
Yeah, it's got purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
It's mostly about selling tickets, I think. But yeah.
Well, I mean, you want people there.
I mean, they're gonna sell out regardless.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's why they did a second women's Money in the Bank. It's why they did a championship match on the same night. I'm sure that was probably one of the quickest sold-out SmackDowns in a while because they announced both of those matches in the same night. You know, so I mean, yeah, a lot of good stuff came out of this. There was technically one more segment. I didn't really mark it down. It was Kurt Angle basically threw out some more breadcrumbs for us to try and put together with his announcement next week that is coming. Whatever this is all coming to a head. I figured if they didn't do it at Great Balls, if he didn't just come out and address it then, they were just going to push it to SummerSlam, but it looks like it's going to be next week. So
yeah, there are multiple superstars that keep dropping the Kurt, why don't you worry about your own personal problems? It's obvious they're pulling the it's obvious that everyone in the back knows that something's going on and everyone is interested in it. So we as the audience should be as well, which is good. And then
another thing to look forward to next week.
Yeah. So Kurt Angle told Corey Graves, he's basically asking Corey, he was like, all right, is this something that I need to tell people? Is this something I should keep a secret? What if it gets out? And Kurt tells Corey Graves, he's like, you know what? Next week, I got to go public with this. So that's got to be how we're going to end Raw next week.
Yeah, as a guy going to school for social media management, I know about all these things they're talking about, you know. Like, I know it's just in storyline mode, but that's something that every person in the WWE, every person really that's just a little bit famous at all, anyone that, you know, household names, they have to constantly make decisions like this. Think about what it must have been like in the hours before black guy on the show for years, Bill Cosby, in the hours before that stuff was going to drop. Can you imagine what Bill Cosby's social media team was like?
Oh, God.
You know, just like damage control at that point. And this is kind of the same idea, you know, except obviously Kurt Angle didn't rape anybody, but, you know.
Hey, they might go that way. Who knows?
The WWE's obviously Probably care about what they do. Probably not. I hope not, anyway, for the sake of WWE. But, you know.
He is having an affair with, I don't know, AJ Lee, and that's why she's not in the company anymore.
He's actually not in the league. He's actually the person in the page video.
I mean, I'm expecting it to be that him and Stephanie were together back like 15 years ago before her and Triple H were ever together, but he knows that Triple H would fire him if not. And the reason why he says it would affect his family is because like he could lose his job and not have any money to pay bills or whatever. They'll probably go that way, but we'll see. It's all speculation. We had the cruiserweight match, Neville and Noam Dar versus Akira Tozawa and Cedric Alexander. The faces got a win. I can't help but think like Tazawa is a smaller guy, but so is everyone else, obviously. It's the cruiserweights. If you did that senton from the top, like in a bar fight, if you're that guy that just you're up on top of the pool table in a bar and you do a running senton onto somebody while they're on the ground, you're messing them up. That move's devastating. And he gets the pin on, I believe, Neville, right? Tazawa pins Neville.
Yep. So that's not over yet.
Yep. So I mean, which we kind of knew.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty good. Alexander's good. He's fantastic, and I think Dar is going to be something someday. They're just trying to keep him in the spotlight, keep him known until it's time.
He'll go up against whoever the belt comes off of from Neville, I would think. Noam Dar, because he can put on good enough matches and enough promos. He's got good entrance music,
and he doesn't have to win it.
Nope. Noam Dar is plenty happy taking a loss because he still gets TV time. You know.
Yep. So we had some promos back and forth, Rollins and Wyatt, and we get Rollins and Wyatt again. I didn't have the sound on at this point. Why do we have Rollins and Wyatt again?
I really hate when they do this, man. You have the pay-per-view the night before. Let's do the fucking match again, especially if it's a match that doesn't have any purpose.
Why did they? What was the whole? Why did they make the match?
I have no idea.
What was their reasoning? Do you remember, Garrett?
It was something about he was going to make him burn tonight or something. Like he did. I guess he didn't feel like he properly beat the respect for him being a god into him. I don't really know. To sell Raw
Bray
tickets.
Wyatt wanted the match.
Yeah.
And I think they were just kind of saying it was a rematch. That's all it was.
They didn't give a reason, but they mentioned, and the commentators mentioned it a couple of times, that he said he was going to burn tonight. So I don't know.
Weird, but Bray Wyatt wins again, wins clean. Same thing as last night. Wyatt's moving on to, it looks like, probably a feud with Dean, and then Seth's going to go against Miz for the IC title. What do you think about a feud between Ambrose and Wyatt? It seems like that has a...
Are they going that route again?
I don't like...
I don't
The
know.
promos will be terrible.
Where else would they go with those two?
I've seen that feud twice. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I hope not. I think it's time for Balor and Wyatt. They tease that.
Balor's got Samson.
Who knows? Maybe just keep Wyatt off TV.
Probably better for him.
And Ambrose. Ambrose could use some time off TV.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Keep them both off.
Yeah. I'd be down. Isn't that sad that we'd rather have him off TV than in a feud against each other?
Not when the WWE books him the way that they have
I've
been.
seen them twice. I'm sure you guys might have seen them another time than that.
And Wyatt just won against one of the guys that they're billing as one of their top guys, and we'd rather see Rollins go get a push than Wyatt.
Boy, let's try and tally it up. Was there Shield versus Wyatt's at some point?
No, they always wanted it.
They always wanted it. It never happened. Okay, but after that, I think that was one of Ambrose's first feuds coming out of the Shield. Was Ambrose? Obviously, it was. Did he go with Rollins maybe or Roman?
I think Ambrose and Wyatt have been in 3 separate feuds with each other.
I'm pretty sure. I'm sure because that was one of his first feuds out of the Shield stuff. And then he went for a while. Ended up back with him again. I think when he was IC champion the first time. And then after that, obviously Wyatt didn't win the belt. After that, he moved on, and then now again.
Yeah.
So
It's obnoxious at this point. But so I mean that was kind of a killer at the end of the show. But overall, like I said, I thought Raw went really slow.
Yeah.
It was one of those nights where, like, I've got 2 screens here. I've got an Xbox hooked up to one of the things if I ever want to turn it on. And as soon as the Miz segment was over, I didn't pay attention to the show at all until I looked and Kurt Angle was coming out. And I was like, okay. So pretty much the Miz segment was at the beginning of the second hour, and the Kurt Angle segment was at the beginning of the third hour. So I basically didn't care about a third of the show at least, which isn't good. The second hour was not good.
No.
So
it was, like I said, when they opened with the golden truth stuff, it was downhill fast.
Yeah. So
I can tell you what Raw needs right now.
What?
This.
Oh, yeah.
Just the club.
Bullet Club. Be interesting.
Bring out Adam Cole and have him run the Bullet Club for if you have to.
I'll keep my opinions about Adam Cole to myself.
He wouldn't do shit on that main roster.
Adam
You
Cole.
think so?
Adam Cole would not get over NXT main roster anything. Nothing.
Well, he's signed, so I hope he does. Just so he proves you wrong.
I don't think he's getting over at all. He'll be back on the indies. He just looks like a generic dude to me.
No, I get that. I'm just saying. I hope he does better.
Yeah.
Because he's done some good stuff.
We'll see.
Ring of Honor.
I hope he proves me wrong. I hope everyone gets over. But if you had to give Raw a grade, Garrett, what would you give it?
A C-. Just not that good of a show. I thought they could. Like you said, I agree with 100% with what you said. It dragged on. I felt like I'm more excited for SmackDown. I mean, there's obvious reasons why I'm excited for SmackDown because we're gonna get AJ with the title. But I mean, it's just it's so hard to give these grades because most of the time it's because it's so good, but this is just so bad. I almost want to give it a D, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna give it a C-.
Charlie?
I'm gonna give it a C+. I think it's not the best Raw I've ever seen. It's not the worst, but it did have some good stuff. I like Lesnar. That whole spiel.
Yeah. Brady?
I liked the Miz segment. That's about 15 minutes. I like the Kurt Angle segment with Lesnar and Strowman, or the three people. That was about 15 minutes. So that's 30 minutes. I liked the Elias Samson Finn Balor stuff. That was about 10 minutes.
What a walk, Elias.
So if we were to tally it up, that would be about. I liked about
40 minutes of the show.
It's like 28% or so, 30% almost of the
almost one third of the show.
30% is failing. I'll give it an F+.
Wow. Is there a such thing?
On what Kurt has next week?
What?
Should we make? What do you? All right. What like Kurt's gonna say next week? You want to make a little prediction?
Oh yeah.
I already said mine.
Yeah, he already says. I think it's gonna be that. No, oh man, this is rough because this is all just. It could be anything. Obviously, it's something with family because he said "I love you" at the end of the show to whoever he was talking on the phone with about going public with it. And there,
Caden Burks.
Whoever it was is gonna be there. I think it's gonna be something along the lines of marital problems with what's his wife's name? Does anyone know?
No idea. She's never been on WWE TV though.
No.
What if he had an affair with Triple H 10 years ago and got AIDS, and now he has to resign?
All right, I think it's gonna have something to do with Dixie Carter, or imagine that.
Well, they are, dude. Dixie Carter's on WWE right now.
Yeah, exactly. So those would be one of my. And your point you made earlier about the old Stephanie thing, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah,
he had an affair with Maria Kanellis when he was in TNA.
Ah, Jesus.
Imagine.
Breaks up Mike Bennett. That's how Mike Bennett becomes Mike Bennett because he just leaves. He's like, nope.
Turns out Mike Bennett is actually named Mike Angle. Kurt Angle adopted him.
Chad Gable's his son.
Oh God.
Chad Angle.
Chad Angle. Dad. No, but next week will hopefully be better. Hello, Caden. Sorry, we're almost out, but yeah, feel free to this is for everyone. Feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you know when we go live. Watch some Big Brother. Watch SmackDown tomorrow night, and we will see you guys on Wednesday, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Later.
Peace.